One thing that I love about Kilimo Diaries is that we get to meet farmers who are doing their thing in quite an innovative manner.
And of course, one of the amazing things ni kwamba the young people are doing it. Kumaanisha kwamba farming ni fun.
And the interesting thing about today's episode is that we are delving into aquaculture.
What is the difference between aquaculture and fish farming? That's why siku ya leo tuko hapa Rongai kukutana naye Cynthia, Angie na Jack.
And they're doing it in vertical lakes, the only one in the entire world.
So they say.
So let's go meet Angie, Jack and Cynthia. Come with us.
And we're here finally.
Yes.
Hi, Sheila
Hello.
and Japheth.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great, and you?
We're
We're
good.
fine.
Welcome to Vertical Lake.
So this is Vertical Lakes.
Yes.
All right. So as we want to get in
Yeah.
and to see this Vertical Lakes.
Yes.
But I'm seeing that kuna footbath hapa.
Yes.
Why is it important?
Because our major focus is on the health of the fish, and we have to be really keen on it. And we believe that anyone coming in might be a contaminant, so that's why we are disinfecting our feet and washing our hands. This is where the facility is, and I would like you to meet Jack to take you through the whole process and the system and the products that we deal with.
All right.
Asante.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
kwa poa sana. Hey, how are you? Yeah. Karibuni sana.
Bro, asante sana kwa kutukaribisha. Imekuwa safari sana all the way from Kiambu kufika hapa. Si rahisi lakini tumefika.
Karibu, karibu.
So probably just tell us who you are, hapa ni wapi, and what do you do here?
I'm Jack Oyugi, and I'm one of the co-founder and CEO at Vertical Lake. And what we do at Vertical Lake, we've explored a vertical aquaculture system, and we're imagining and we're thinking what aquaculture will look like, not for today, but for the future. Imagine a lake in the sky giving food and giving organic fertilizers for not only for food, but even for regenerating and replenishing our planet. So that's what we do here. Yes.
So ideally, Jaffe, we are by the lakeside.
We are imagining. Well, actually, it's a reality.
It's a reality,
It's a
yeah.
reality. So, bro, what is the difference now between the aquaculture and the fish farming?
Yes.
Tofauti ni gani?
Aquaculture is an advanced system of fish farming. So fish farming is a traditional way of growing fish, like the ponds or whatever we've been seeing. But then advanced systems that take consideration on how fish will be grown or reared is called aquaculture. So what we say with aquaculture is that aquaculture has to make sure that the fish welfare is taken care of. If you compare what we do here, we made sure that our system mimics the lake system, where water flows like the lake system. So the welfare of the fish in terms of even the oxygen, dissolved oxygen requirement, the purity of water, and even the freshness of water required for fish to grow is taken care of. So that means the fish becomes more healthy and grows very fast. And compared to a normal fish farming, that may be like a pond system, you might find that the pond is depleted of oxygen and many other things that can also interfere with the growth rate of fish. The other thing is even the water quality. We look at why we call this an aquaculture system. So it's a movement. So we make sure that do we look at aquaculture in a sustainable way? So how do we even save the amount of water we use in this system? How do we even save space? How do we make sure that we even save in terms of greenhouse emissions, in terms of waste generations? Because you realize that fish farming, you have to pump waste or water to the environment. So aquaculture is a movement that is geared to restoring our environment. Make sure that whatever we do does not interfere with our systems, but also it improves and helps us get protein and fish, for example, but also we have to make sure that we save our environment from destructions that come from that kind of a model. So maybe I will take you through how it works so that you understand, so that we go in the nitty-gritties. So what's now vertical lake? So a vertical lake system is a stacked tank systems that go up in the sky. As you can see, this building is made of greenhouse. This is just a normal greenhouse structure, and we've just made sure that it's protected from the environment so that we control everything happening inside here. The greenhouse is also helping us in terms of building the temperatures, because like the tilapia we grow here are some specific required temperatures. For example, around 30 degrees. So that temperature has to be maintained for fish to grow in a nice way. So that's why we have this structure here. If you look at the rooftop, it's made sure that we can harvest as much water as possible so that you can use to fill these structures that you are seeing here, the tank system. And now with the vertical stacking systems, we do put fish in each level of the tank. What happens that after having this vertical, this is what we call a vertical lake model, and several models can make a lake. So we have one vertical lake, and this lake has fish growing in it. So what happens that we put fish in the first tank. Remember that tank has water, rainwater, and every tank has rainwater. So we grow fish and then cycle them in between the tanks, so that if we have like 4 tanks or 6 tanks up in the sky, they move from the first tank to the second tank, to the third, to the fourth. And when they get to the last tank, they are mature to the market. So that means we are able to put 1 gram fish at the top of the tank. And with our own technology, we are able now to move them and get 400 grams or more into the bottom, so that we concentrate in harvesting. Then how do we harvest it? This is a very clean way. It's not net formed, so we can just like release some water to go to the other tank and then pick the right size of fish that we require to go to the market and leave the other ones to grow by minus interfering with the systems. You realize that this system is modular because we have the first model, the second, and we're building the other ones. So that means if you have a problem with the first model, we don't need to interfere with this model. So it kind of separated. So now water flows from up, it goes to different tanks before it comes down, and then we are able to recycle it. In between, we implement what we call gravitational biofiltration. I know that's science.
Very
Yes, it's complex. So we went to the lake and studied how is the lake mechanism operating. Why is the lake is ever fresh? What happens? How do the lake remove sediments? So what's happening with us is that we implement the lake. So now water moves from up, and moving from up, we use some kind of microbes to help us in terms of removing the waste from the system, the same way the lake operates. So what happens is that water is pumped from that tank through our channel. It goes to a biofiltration mechanism where we are able to separate sediments and clean water, and then use microorganisms to purify that water before it goes to the next tank. Now that we've cleaned that tank, in human, let's say like if you are having kidney problem, the blood can pump somewhere, it's purified and comes back to the body. So that's what we are doing here. We can remove the water from one tank, clean it, then take it to the next tank. So we can replicate every level of tank, do individual biofiltration. So when it hits the last tank, we use solar system to pump it back. So to the first tank, so that we are able to recycle it.
All right.
So we've proven that this technology can work to anywhere. We don't depend on a lake, a river, or anywhere that has water to grow fish, but we can grow it anywhere. Look at now fish farm done in urban areas. Yes. Look at this system being done in rooftops, in arid areas like where we are seated today. That's the capacity we've given to this system. The other thing we have done is that specificity. We've proven that with this kind of system, like this one standing here, there's like 10,000 fish growing in it, just one model. That's a lot. And we can now prove that that is equal to around 20 ponds laid down horizontally in the system, in the ground. So we can use very small space to use a lot of water. So those are the things that we've proven. The other thing that we've also proven is about this, the preeminence and organic nature of our fish. We make sure that the biosecurity level is so high so that the fish is very clean, that it can go now to the premium market, even for also that need some clean food for the patients. The other thing is that about the waste management, we don't interfere with the environment. Everything that comes from our system is recycled back to our ecosystem in a better way. Most interesting, lastly, we've made sure that we also have integrated systems like sensors and cameras to help us monitor and manage our vertical lake. For example, each tank has a camera on top of it, and we're also implementing cameras deep inside the water, and those cameras are there to look at fish every time, 24 hours. So they're able to track fish movements, and using an AI algorithm, they're able now to even learn and tell us what's happening. If they're not feeding, if they are sick, if they are not active, so we're able to learn and see what's happening.
All right, and perhaps what species of fish do you have here on the vertical lake? You mentioned omena, so if we started fishing, will I find omena here?
Tilapia market is so big and people love it. So we wanted to say now that we've proven that our system can go tilapia, why can't we build it somewhere that people can easily get it. So we have gone for tilapia not only for food system, but the other value that it brings. For example, tilapia has been proven that it can be used in medical and other aspects. For example, the skin of tilapia has been used in treatment of burns and wounds, but only if it is grown in the right way with biosecurity measures and is clean and traceable. So we were looking at why can't we then grow fish that does not only go for food consumption, but can also have several uses in industries and also in medical and even cosmetic. For your skin, you still need collagen, which can come from tilapia, and that's why we went for tilapia.
Jack, while on our way, Sheila alikuwa anapiga kifua sana, anasema kwamba Vertical Lake is only it's only one actually in the world. I don't know, is it true?
One of the things maybe I just in sort of can say about Vertical Lake, we've looked at different aspects. It's the first lake that's able to give you clean sediments, fish poops, that you will never find anywhere, and we are able to commercialize this. What the future of Vertical Lakes look like, we want also the communities to even own smaller versions of Vertical Lakes so that we can have protein into the communities and people even now getting multiple revenues. If you imagine a fish you have to grow for 1 year to sell fish, but people who do like poultry, they sell eggs every day. So they are able to get quick money. So imagine a lake that's giving you fish after 6 months, but every day you can also make money from fish poops, the ways that are coming from here.
So technically, Jaffe, I was right.
You are right.
I think you should pay me for being a good brother. So lastly, before we take our break, I see you've stacked up 1, 2, 3, 4. How high can it go? Is it just 4? That is the maximum. How high can this go?
Yeah, so the future is very bright. We've stacked 4, but this is so scalable. So we can even have like 10. So like the future of this is like, imagine 10 acres of this variety of lakes, maybe like 100 rows of this, and each module has 10 tanks. So we say sky is the limit. As long as we can do the sky, we can have more and more tanks.
Absolutely, that is fantastic. The sky
Is the limit.
is the limit.
But you can still go around.
Yes. So we are up for a commercial break. When we will be back, we will have Cynthia and Angie to take us through the production and the distribution phase. Do not go too far. Keep it TV 47.
Welcome back. This is Kilimo Daries on TV 47, and of course we are hanging out here at the Vertical Lake here in Rongai. Now, Sheila, take home for me tonight ni kwamba kumbe omena sio fingerlings.
So Kilimo Daries inakutoa ushamba pole pole tu. As we see. All right, on this part, we will be hanging out with Angie, who is now taking us through the production bit of it. We could start by what does the schedule on day-to-day look like in terms of feeding the fish, and how many times do you do it, and the production in general?
So I'm happy to take you through the whole fish process on our day-to-day activities. And when you were entering, I showed you how we disinfect our foot and our hands, just to ensure the safety and health of the fish. So in the morning, we first clean up the space. And then from there, we go direct to like a breakfast. You see, like the way people have their breakfast, even fish have their breakfast at around 10 a.m. So we feed the fish depending on the sizes. That's what determines the amount that we're going to feed them per tank, because each tank is different. It has different fish size. So that's what determines the amount of fish we're supposed to give them. Now from there, we do also test the water. We test water, that is in terms of temperature and pH. And also we test the fish poops to ensure that, to check on their health side, whether, it's balanced and if they are still okay. Like, we are very keen when it comes to health and the safety of the fish. Yeah, because you remember, just like Jack said, we're observing on cleanliness, sustainability, and more so on traceability. So that's what we do check on the most.
So they do have breakfast and dinner, no lunch. And you're sure they'll be full by the end of the day?
Yes, we make sure they are well fed, and we make sure that the amount of food we feed them in the morning sustains them till the evening. Yes.
And perhaps, what type of food do you feed the fish? Jaffe here might be thinking, utakuja urushe mkate, ugali. What feeds actually do you use on this farm and the lake?
Yeah. So for us, we have a sister company by the name Biofeeds. So that's where we get our feeds from, and they are made from soya omena, and water hyacinths. So that's what we've been feeding the fish.
That is not cannibalism. Wanakula omena, I thought they are the same species.
It's processed.
Yeah, it's the same process.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you also do test for, this, the purity of the water. Yeah. Perhaps why is that important as you do that, and how do you do that here on Lake?
We do check on the health because you see we are organic, so we don't want to use any antibiotics or chemicals to our fish. So we make sure we do whatever it takes to ensure that the fish, every minute that comes in and comes out, we make sure that the fish is in good and right state of health, because we don't want to contaminate them in any way, and we don't want to tarnish the organic bit. Yeah.
And while feeding, do you have automated feeding systems? Someone automate the manual system?
For now, we are using manual system, whereby, for example, like this tank you're seeing here, we already know, like for example, this is 3 months. We already know the amount of food that we're supposed to feed them in the morning. So we just feed them manually. Yeah, for now we've not yet invented a way of feeding them automatically, but in future that's something we're going to explore.
Right. And I know someone is watching and wondering, so then where do you get the fingerlings from? Do you hatch them here on the farm in the lake? And yeah, what's the process like of transporting perhaps fingerlings if you're getting it from a different place?
We get our fingerlings from the lake, Victoria. And here in our facility, we have a hatchery space whereby we take our fingerlings, and then after 2 months, that's when we bring them here in the system, in the vertical lake system. And we ensure that we are taking good care of them, because again, we are controlling the mortality rate. Yes.
And for someone who's watching at home right now, as an aspiring farmer and probably someone who's into the business right now, what are some of the common challenges that probably farmers, or the common mistakes that people normally do when they're doing such kind of venture?
For me, I'd say it's the health perspective. That's been the major one. Because you see, majority out there, they haven't yet invented. No one has actually invented in this system. So most of them, they are using the fish ponds. Yeah, and you find a fish pond in most facility, if I may say, they are open. Like anyone can just see, anyone can just, and then it's underground, it's on the ground. So when it rains, the water and all the waste contaminates the pond. So I think that's where most people go wrong. And I think when inventing such a thing, such a system, it might be sustainable, even in terms of controlling the health.
So before we join Angie, Cynthia, who will take us through the distribution bit of it, perhaps as you wind up, how then do you do the fishing? Do we use nets? What do you do?
So for us, we do use net.
Yes.
So we have a net, like you see, for example, this tank here, right here. So we have like 2 people from that end. They handle the net, and then they walk towards that end. Yeah, and the net usually touch the surface.
Yes.
So they move towards there, and by the time you get there, you already have a whole bunch of fish. Yes, and now when you get there, you definitely have different sizes. Yes. So you have to sort out whichever size that you may need. So that's how we do it. Yeah.
We are joined now by Cynthia, who is taking us through the management bit of this and the distribution.
Imagine, Angie talked about kutoka pale nyuma na fish net all the way paka hapa mwisho, and then sorting them out. So ukisha sort, then what happens?
Then what next? So Cynthia, you did take us through now the harvesting. So we have already gotten the fish. What next after? How do we get the money?
Well, this is the most interesting part. You get to enjoy this most.
Yes.
So we are working on regenerative agriculture. So we are trying to solve a protein problem, not only for plants, but for human beings. So that's why we're farming tilapia. So tilapia can give us fish fillets that solve the protein problem for people. And for the plants, we have a plant food that we make from the fish poop that we collect from our systems. So we do a fermentation process where we add value to make it more potent, and it comes out into two products. So it comes as a gel, this one, you can shake it, it's a bit thick. It's high in phosphorus, so it's used in the initial stages of the crop development, where it gets to rehabilitate the soil because of the living microorganisms. It is high in phosphorus, so it helps in root development and the stem development. It's ideal for all types of crops during the initial stages. And then we come to the most premium product of them all, that is the gold tea. So this one is high in nitrogen and amino acids, and again, they are living microorganisms. It's 100% organic, and they're living organisms. So this one helps break down, help the microorganisms to be able to break down the minerals here so that they are readily available for the plants. So we use it as a foliar for our crops. So we have a nursery here that we've been working on, a garden actually that we've been working on to see how our product works, to also do documentation of our products. We've also been doing demos with farmers in Homa Bay, Meru County, and Embu to validate different crops. We've done tea, muguka, miraa, and we have done maize, beans, and soybeans, and also avocado. So what we're trying to see, to tell the world is that organic farming does not necessarily have to be expensive. It's attainable, and we need to rehabilitate our soil so that future generations, my children, when they start farming, they will not be farming soil that has been depleted and that has been scorched by the chemicals that we use.
All right, fantastic. And you know, you're mentioning everything organic. I do not know what has the market really embraced organic items, organic plant food, and what does the market say about organic?
Well, when you position yourself as a premium product that's organic and people can be able to trace your work, they appreciate it. So there is demand of organic, traceable food in the market currently. Like any other business, we want to niche down and show our unique value propositions to to the consumers. Hence, we are priding ourselves with the biosecurity, zero chemicals, and our efficiency in our operations. So to be able to cut costs in our operations, we are 100% green, and we only lose 2% of water. So we are embracing technology to make our farming not only more efficient, but also sustainable and traceable.
Okay.
Right.
And this kind of product from the Vertical Lake, do you have a processing plant, or you partner with other manufacturers?
We want to be in control of everything and make sure that everything meets our standards, so we process it here. So unlike other organic fertilizers whereby they tell you they did processing with avocados that you did not know how they were farmed, here we check our feeds that we get from our sister company, so we control everything that is fed to the fish. The farming system itself does not introduce outside parties, so it's purely organic. So we can trace everything. We can trace the fertilizer from the feeds we fed the tilapia to the tilapia that is producing the fish poop to the processing. Yes.
Fantastic. It's a lot of science,
It's
it's
a lot
a
of
lot of
science, the
technology.
processing and everything.
And I know someone is watching, Wendy, and is wondering, how can I learn more about Vertical Lake? Can they come here to learn from you? Where can they reach you at?
We're open for farm visits. Everyone is welcome to come learn more about aquaculture and regenerative agriculture. We are in social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We're happy to have those conversations, and we're happy to share our expertise and knowledge to build a stronger and sustainable future for our farmers.
I think last question before we wrap up, Jaffe. You are young, and we saw Angie was young. I do not know what motivated you to be part of aquaculture. And for that aspiring young farmer watching you, what would be your advice to them, and how has this journey been so far for you?
So my parents are farmers. They do crop farming. So when I was being raised in Meru, I thought farming is a part of life. Like it's like eating and drinking, because we did it every time. We didn't see it as a business. So when I went to school to learn business, I realized that farming can also be a business. So when I met Jacques, a fisherman, I was very excited to see about his innovations and how it was contributing to agriculture. So what I can tell young people is that you do not have to be the farmer farming, but you can add value to the farmer and still contribute to the ecosystems.
All right, I think that is very powerful, Jaffe, that you do not have to be the farmer, but you could add value to that farmer.
It's all about value addition. Asante sana to team from Vertical Lake, and of course, asante sana to Cynthia, to Jack and Angie. Thank you to the Kenya National Farmers Federation, na asante sana to you for tuning in, na asante sana to the crew kwa kuhakikisha kwamba Kilimo Daries iko juu tu sana.
And of course, remember, you could catch the conversations on Kilimo Diaries on all our digital platforms at TV47KE and at TV47 Digital. Do not forget to leave a comment of who you are, where you are, and what type of farming you are involved in. Of course, I am Sheila Chelangat.
And I'm MC Jaffe.
And this is Kilimo Diaries, a show for the farmer,
By the farmer,
with the farmers.